Hi everyone and welcome back to this course. In this video we would be learning about loops. So loops can be categorized into two types. We have iterative and we have conditional. So first you need to understand what iteration means. So iteration is doing one step a set number of times. So doing something over and over in repetition over a fixed number of times is iteration. So the iterative loop in Python is called the for loop, and conditional you must have known from conditions like if else. So a conditional loop is where a thing is run over and over till the time a certain condition holds true. So think of it as an if statement of loops. So the conditional loop in Python is called the while loop. So let's go over their syntax a little bit. So for this video, I would be printing numbers from 1 to 50 using loops. So let's see how you can do it in for and how you can do it in while. So let's go to our code and let me just write iteration, and we'll also do it in conditional loop. Oops, my spelling. Conditional. So for iteration we have the for loop. I'll just mention here for loop, and for conditional we have the while loop. So here the syntax is for, then you declare the variable which would be the iterative variable. So this is something that you declare here. So I would write I in, and then you specify what are the values, the pool of values through which this would iterate. So I can just say 1, 2, 3 like this, or I can use something called range. So a range has a starting point, an ending point, and the number of steps taken in between. So the starting point would be 1, since I said I would print numbers from 1 to 50. So 1, then 51. The stopping point is 51 because a for loop stops exactly at one step before the stopping point here in case of range. So if I write 50, it would stop at 49. Now, by default, the step is 1. What it means is that it would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 until 50. If I write 2 here, then it would be 1, 3, 5, 7, like that, jumps of 2. If I write 3, then 1, 4, 7, that way. So this is how the step works. I do not need to specify it because the default is 1 there. So after a colon, then I can write print I. So I is the variable which would get values from 1 to 50 each time the iteration goes on. And once it reaches 50th position, that is the last time this code would be executed. After that, the loop would terminate. So Python 3 part 3.py. Oops, I did not save it. This is the reason it happened. And here you can see it goes from 1 all the way to 50. And let me show you what would have happened if I just wrote 50 here. If I wrote 50, it would go till 49. Now let's tweak with the step count a little bit. Let's make it 3. You see here 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, like this. This is how it happens. Now let me show you what happens if I pass a string here. String. So what it does is it goes through each character one by one. So S, then T, then R, I, N, G, and it simply prints that character which it is on. So string. So I gets values from S, T, R, I, N, G on each iteration, and it simply just prints the value of I. So this is how you can do this in case of iteration. Now let's do the same thing that we have done here in a while loop. So first I would have to declare a variable I, and I would have to set its value to 1. Now I'll write while I is less than 51, or I can say if I is less than or equal to 50. Print I. Now if I just run it right now, oops, I did that mistake again. I'll just comment this part out for now. If I run it now, it just keeps on printing 1, and it would keep on going infinitely. This is because the value of I is never increasing, and it always remains smaller than 50. So to increase it, you write I plus plus. So to increase it, you write I plus equal to 1. Basically, writing I plus equal to 1 is same as I equal to I plus 1. This is just a shorter method of doing that. So if I run this now, it stops at 50 and it takes jumps of 1. Now if I say plus equal to 3 like I did here by changing the range a little bit, then a step of 3 would be added each time. As you can see here, 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, and so on. I can also do the same thing which I did by going through a string by just changing some stuff here and there. So let's say I have a string equal to string, and let me get the length of string. So I want to always have I stay below that, and since indexing starts from 0, I would have to change this to 0. So I should be less than the length of string. So the length of the string would be 6, while the maximum index number would be 5. So this makes perfect sense. So let's just print I of string. So we're getting the ith index number, and we're going to just print that. Now I'll change it back to plus equal to 1, and oops, not here, this one, because it's a little bigger, and it says string. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.